Good morning, everyone. Here is Bruce Newman from the Bruce Newman's Academy, and we're gonna start with a question from Agustino from Canada, which is asking how much hypnosis to be efficient and helpful. So, concerning the topic of hypnosis, I would like to make people understand that there is a deep and fundamental misunderstanding about hypnosis. Hypnosis is not a therapy. Hypnosis is not a mechanism. Hypnosis is a tool. A therapist could be a psychoanalyst, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, may use the tool of hypnosis in some purpose. It could be used as well by dentists. Hypnosis is a cold, clinical tool. It's not a mean to an end. The idea of hypnosis is the following. Consciousness and perceptions have different states. And this tool will help the patient to switch from a state to another. There is something which is called trance, paradoxical states, which is pretty much the state of sleeping. Interestingly enough, this state could be reached during our waking state. And then, suddenly, stupendous things could happen as far as long as the sleeping state is an open door to our unconscious mind. This door, leading to our unconscious mind, could be reached during our waking state. But one step further, I would like to put on light the fact that hypnosis is not only used by therapists. Hypnosis is used all the time by everyone. Advertisers are not entertainers. Advertisers are scientists. They're not here in order to heal you. Then even not here in order to sell you something. Advertising is propaganda. When a product is sold, it's not a value which is sold, it's an idea, a concept. When advertisers are spreading ads on TV, let's say, a lot of tools which belong to hypnosis will be in play. NLP, neuro-linguistic programmation, will be in play. Some words would be used intentionally in order to trigger the conscious mind and find a way and access an open door to the unconscious mind. Some words which are minor would be used on a soft way, and some fundamental words which could be chosen as a trigger, as a code, in order to reframe your program and your mental, would be leveled up and reinforced and energized. Any further, you may have noticed that when you're watching a TV show on TV and suddenly the ads comes up, the commercials, the sound of the commercial is louder than the sounds of a show in order to capture your attention, but as well in order to provoke a surprise, which is called in hypnosis a dissociation, and put you on some special paradoxical states. In this way, hypnosis could be used by therapists and some very difficult psychological trauma could be relieved. But it has to be understood on this way. An hypnotherapist will, during a hypnotherapy session, subjugate you, open a door to your unconscious mind, to your subconscious, and will put a seed in your unconscious mind, will open the door or the animus, and put a seed, an idea, a concept in your unconscious mind. It is called an inception. As far as this trauma that the patient may have was due to the fact that he was traumatized by an event, an accident, something did happen, and it's not the event by itself which causes grief. It's not the event by itself which is wounded him. Is that this traumatic event was somehow, if I may speak in this way, an hypnotherapy session, not done by a therapist, but done by life. And during this event, the person has been subjugated, did level up the boundaries of his conscious mind, of his psyche, and let enter a concept, an idea, an emotion, a belief. And most of the time it's a belief that he's in danger. And when the events comes over, the belief just stay inside his mind. He will continue to evolve on his daily life, but still would feel tremendous pain because he will still feel at every moment that he's in danger. The best example possible that I could provide is the image of the horse. Some has a horse accident and break his leg. And this incident was traumatic. He gets scared. And from this point, he's always scared by horses. As far as an inception has been done and an association, the horse equal a leg which is going to be broken. The horse equal danger. And this is not reality. The horse is not dangerous. An event which did happen has been dangerous, but still the idea is still inside, in the mind. So pretty much that's the job of the hypnotherapist, is to focus on a specific point, on this very particular event, on this accident, and provoke by using different tools a dissociation, some element of surprise, not during a dangerous event, but on the comfortable and safe office of the therapist. Will open the door of the unconscious mind and will replace this element which has been incepted in the unconscious mind, trade it with some other element, which could be, for instance, no, the host is very safe, and some associations would be done. The horse is equal a pony, the horse is blue, the horse is sweet. So then, and as far as our psyche is a mechanism, and I will go to this spot. After the session, the person will suddenly start to see horses as sweet animal, not dangerous anymore, but he wouldn't know why, because there's no reason that he changed his mind and his point of view suddenly on this way to consider the horses. But this session of therapy as an equivalent could be comparable as an event we did appear, and the event was actually in the office, but the fact is that events fundamentally are not much the fruit of our imagination, as far as if we see it really. And let's take, for instance, this horse accident. When it's remembered, the subject will remember lots of evidence, lots of images, lots of informations, all the surrounding, all around while he was on the horse. And something happened. He has a first element of information. The horse is making some sounds. The horse is somehow and in a mysterious way snarling. How can a horse can snarl? And suddenly another event is happening. And he get projected to the ground, and a lot of emotions could be gathered and associated to this event. That would be a cluster of informations. But if we consider it on a natural way, what did happen? You can understand that nothing special happened. Person just fall down, and the events was something like 1 second, 3 seconds. And at the reception of the ground, the legs get broken. Sorry for my terrible English. So in this way, you can imagine that the sensation of an whole event happening could be recreated in the office of the hypnotherapist. Everything will be completely delusional, but the sensation of the patient would be that lots of things did happen. The mind has been reframed. And that's what we're speaking about. The framing of the mind. Understanding that our mental is a mechanism. Our thoughts and our mental are composed by repairs, elements. As far as fundamentally, the mind is not much than a tool of discrimination. Yes or no? Red or light? Should I stop? Should I go further? Not much. And this mechanism, this mental, is composed by different repairs, which are memories. From my experience, I know that if I go left, it would be good for me. And if I go right, it would be dangerous. That's a binary system, 0, 1. And in some points, life provides something which is so interesting, which are contradictory evidence. So far, my belief were that if I go to the left, I would be safe. And suddenly, I do realize that that wasn't maybe not true. And from this point, an element of confusion will appear. A fundamental, metaphysical feeling of being not only lost, but unsafe. As far as my repair did disappear, I do feel in danger. There's a threat, and this feeling of being in danger will be energized as far as There's nothing to replace this repair, and I don't know anymore how to discriminate, what would be the good direction, and in which way I should react in order to keep myself safe. That's here that hypnotherapy can come into play. And when one of those repair have been bursted, this repair could be replaced. But interestingly enough, some events are not located in a very specific point in time, but are gathered in a series of events and will create a cluster that we could call an experience, a life experience. And as an example, I will take a relationship. All the informations exchanged between two persons during a relationship would not be just one specific event, which could have been painful or traumatic. Maybe those two people have been in confrontation, fighting, arguing. No. It would be a streak of events. And so much information would be exchanged. As far as the fundamental principle of a relationship is that there is something which is pursued on a relationship. It's intimacy. You want to feel the pleasure to be associated with another being. Sensually, but not only, affectively as well. And it will create this feeling of joy, this fulfillment. Because of this intimacy, the sudden vicinity of two souls melting with each other, as two polarities, masculine and feminine, will melt. And it means as well that the fundamental principle of a relationship is that there's no boundaries anymore. Because of this intimacy, you wouldn't protect yourself anymore. You will melt with the other person. And as far as there wouldn't be any more boundaries, this relationship would be a perfect opportunity to not just zone, but bombard your unconscious mind with inceptions. All the demons, all the egregores, all the dysfunctional aspects of your partner would become yours. And vice versa. Reversal. I guess that there's a lot to say about that. I couldn't resume it, unfortunately, in just one session. But the thing is that you do understand in this way that EV tool of hypnotherapy could be used by a psychoanalyst in order to trick this mechanism, this repair, which has been bursted during your car accident or during this event, which did happen when you were well with your horse. How, in your opinion, how far could go the hypnotherapist with you on a 1 year relationship with another sentient being with millions of inceptions which has been done, which all the reapers of your mental mechanism which has been thrown away and bursted. What do you think the hypnotherapist could do? Like reframe you and re-educate you from scratch as you are a 2 years old child? No. And this is my belief. In my opinion, neither the hypnotherapist, neither the Tai Chi Kung Fu master, neither the assistant of the massage room, and neither dentist could do anything about that. Which has to be understood is that when this mental mechanism is completely bursted, destroyed, and all the repairs have been thrown away, and then like this, it's not just sorrow, it's just a sadness, it's a metaphysical pain, which is fundamentally the scare of death, which comes into play. As far as all this repair has been bursted, you get no clue. Should I go right? Should I go left? So then this mechanism is just as a corollary going to this conclusion. I got no idea I'm gonna be useful to help this body-mind organism to survive. And this body-mind organism is therefore in danger. This body-mind organism maybe gonna die, which is completely delusional, most likely. But that's what is happening. So in this way, when the mental is completely bursted and destroyed, it could be the highest source of pain ever, because it's quite what is called literally living in hell, because you're living in fear at every moment. You cannot wish this kind of state of being even to your worst enemy. And yet, when this event is happening, this is already a blessing. Because you do understand that this tool, which is your mind, which is from now completely dysfunctional. You can't have a normal conversation with someone without feeling a discomfort, a sensation of panic, and a normal day just become frantic. And it's an opportunity to understand that if you want to continue to go on, you cannot use this tool, which is your mental anymore, because it becomes completely out of meaning. You have to agree to the fact that this tool is completely dysfunctional from now. Not useless, but dysfunctional. And there, in order to make the day and go on, you're going to use another tool. And this other tool wouldn't be your rational intelligence, but maybe as well already your emotional intelligence, what is called your intuition. You wouldn't, from this point, learn to simply understand the evidence, but already to feel the evidence. You would start to learn not only to react on situation because you think that it's a good choice and go on a mechanical reaction, but react on some situation because you feel it good, because you feel that it's a good thing to do and you don't know why. You just feel it. You know it because you feel it. It's called being aligned. But any further, I would like to be slightly arrogant. There is something which is called the superior intelligence, which is a way to get information, and it doesn't come from your mind. It does come from something superior, which doesn't come from your body. It does come from you. This is another topic, and we'll need to explore that maybe during another podcast. But I'm gonna give you a glance. On the 70s, there were in the north of France a bunch of nuns on a monastery. There were old nuns, Catholic nuns. All of them were about between 70 years old and 80 years old. And as far as it could sound preposterous, interestingly enough, all those nuns were maybe 5 or 6. They all had an Alzheimer. But I was speaking here like on a serious Alzheimer, ultimate phase, terminal phase of Alzheimer. All those nuns did have a brain which was completely rusted. I don't know if some of you in the audience have some grandparents, parents, or old relatives which are suffering from an Alzheimer. This is just terrible. The person just even can have a breakfast by itself. It's a catastrophe. And believe it or not, all these nuns were dialoguing, conversing, speaking, chatting, interacting with what appeared to be not only a very normal intelligence, but somehow subtle minds. Scientists couldn't explain it, but my hypothesis, and that's here we're entering on the realm and the miracles of quantum physics. So much to say. These nuns were using, which is called their superior intelligence. And send me a message. I did wrote a book about that. They were using, by tuning themselves to some superior frequency, an intelligence which is not personal, but collective. And even better, always knowns, did have a great sense of humor. They were very joyful. In this way, you have to understand that there's folks in general, and which makes you feel that you're so special as an individual, and those folks are coming from you, are, in the matter of fact, absolutely not personal. Those folks are not coming from you. They're collective. If you have a special state of mind, and some folks are coming into your mind at a specific moment, be sure 100% that someone, somewhere, would have the exact same kind of folks as yours. And maybe not just one person, maybe 10 persons, maybe 1 million persons. Folks are collectives. Depending the way of you would connect yourself on some particular energy point of your body, you will tune yourself to some special frequency of folks, and you will enter a particular flow of folks that would comes to you, comes into your mind, and not the opposite. That thought would comes to you, and you won't be the one producing that thought in any way. And it would be the same eventually for your feeling, your state of panic after a breakup on a very particular relationship which did throw away all your repairs, all your mental repairs, and put you in this frantic and terrible state of mind, which is so painful. all the sensations and emotions that you're experiencing at the moment are shared by some other people at the exact same moment, because very well they would be located in the exact same energy points by themselves. I guess it could be developed infinitely, and unfortunately, time of this Ascent Cat session is limited. So I wish you very interesting day. Don't forget to reach our channel on Instagram, the next level of yourself, and ask your questions. We will answer. I would like to put some light and put some basis about what therapy is about and what an empowerment is about. I may express the idea, which is fundamental, that whatever the therapy is, some therapies are very old and some others are modern. Some therapies, such as psychoanalysis, psychology, psychiatry, are academically recognized by a large community of professors. They're official, they are recognized by the governments, not in all territories, in some territories, not all of them. And fundamentally and mostly, they are recognized because they're considered as safe. And most likely they are. Still, there's two things which are commonly forgotten. First, those practices are experimental. Psychoanalysis is experimental. Psychology is experimental. And as preposterous as it could be, most of the elements, tools, practices, and mechanisms in use in psychology could be found in some other practices which are older than that, such as shamanism. And as far as shamanism is considered as somehow as a magic, still through the studies of quantum physics, we do discover today that these shamanic practices and disciplines are maybe not magic. As far as the phenomenon coming into play during some shamanic rituals, and the supernatural events which are following are, in a matter of fact, explained by quantum physics. So suddenly it puts everything in question. But let's go back to these practices, psychology, which is very good. There's nothing bad with psychology. If some a coach would practice shamanism with someone, I guess you make sign to his client paper. Pretty much considering the fact that whatever happened, all those practices are experimental, and they wouldn't forget to consult dedicated and recognized and certificated doctor or psychologist, and keep in touch with his doctor, of course. But still, my meaning is that as far as psychology is very good, it has its own limits. I'm gonna take a very good example. I've done a podcast recently at the Bruce Newman Open Doors with certificated psychologist Sean Murphy, which is an anxiety expert, and he's very good. And by the way, Sean, I did send you a message. You still didn't answer me. This is a total lack of courtesy. I would like you to behave as an educated person and stop acting as a hillbilly. You will give me a favor. I will send you a message. But pretty much, which wasn't put on the table, and which is very interesting during this podcast, Bruce Newman Open Doors, is that Sean is treating people which are the victims of terrible traumatism. What he was mentioning, and you can believe him, is that those victims just live such traumatism which were so brutal that you would even see that in the movies, even in the horror films. And his job is to teach to his patients as how to use boundaries, how to use this tool of boundaries. But the thing is that it's still a theory, it's still a concept. This tool still have its own limitations. Once a traumatic event would have been faced, some elements would have been craved somehow in the unconscious mind as an inception. And the principle of this practice would be to put some boundaries with the past and not let these events appear in the present, helping the patient to make the day. and not still living in the fear, in the terror of what did happen during this trauma. But in my opinion, those practices have their own limitations. As far as the element of terror would still be craved in the unconscious mind, it will still will be living, it still will be vivid. And those elements would be in action in the daily life, but unconsciously. They wouldn't be there anymore. They wouldn't be conscious. They will be proactive. And in this way, the demons, which are pretty much the egregore of the unconscious mind of the animus, would be the driver. They will be the puppet masters of your life. And it would lead necessarily to something which is called unconscious acts. People will do things, but unconsciously. They will act and react without knowing why they're doing so. That's why my opinion and my point is that in order to reach your real self, your real power, your higher self, boundaries should not necessarily come too much into play. You should accept what happened, face it, and same way about what did happen. Facing your demons is what is called the shadow work. And it's not a fight. It's not a struggle. It's not about wrestling with yourself. It's all about understanding. Why did it happen? Necessarily, it did happen for some reasons. If it did happen, it was on some purpose in your path life. And it was in order to lead you somewhere and make you understand something. It's only by accepting what did life did manifest that you can react on the proper way, which would be your way, your choice. And it wouldn't be a reflex. It wouldn't be etymologically a reaction. It would be your action. Something will happen. You will accept it. And it would lead to an act. But eventually, this action would be totally, completely accurate. as far as you would understand that you are not the author. You are not the author in the way that these mechanisms, which are the thoughts, which could be considered by some as an ego, would not be the author. Those thoughts are just only the tool. There is no doer, properly speaking, as far as the action is in harmony and aligned with the event, as far as the action that would come into play would be an action without cause.